Hi guys, it's Molly with Soul School. It's really great to be back with you. Today is Wednesday. And Wednesday, if you didn't know this, Wednesday is a day that is ruled by the planet Mercury. And that's the reason why I think that Wednesdays are a great day for my mental alchemy readings. So that's the theme of today's reading, mental alchemy. What is mental alchemy? Basically, we've had this conversation about what is it that really creates our reality. All right, so following the principle that our thoughts do in fact create our reality, mental alchemy is really about the process of learning to shape our thoughts in order to create the reality that we really desire. So that's what these are all about. Like I said, I'm really happy to be here today. Don't forget, I'm not here to tell you your future. I'm just trying to read the present to the best of my ability, talk a little bit about the past. We might, since this is a collective reading, talk about where things are heading, but I feel like Spirit has already come through in a very strong way. Our galactic guides. Okay, I'm using the Galactic Heritage cards today. I went ahead and I drew 3 cards before I sat down to read, because this is a deck, like this book, look at all the, this is all the information they have for one card. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, this is a work of Lisa Royal Holt. She did not do the illustrations. What's his name? David Cow did the illustrations. But if you're not familiar with the works of Lisa Royal Holt, she is a channel who talks about the history of our galaxy, like the history of different collectives within our galaxy. Words like Sirian, Pleiadian, Arcturian. We got the Zeta Reticuli showing up today. But what I did is, because I'm really trying to study this deck, get to know it a lot better, I went ahead and I pulled those cards before we sat down. So let's talk about what the message is that's coming out today. I did very specifically sit down and channel, like I said, our galactic guides. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to my channel, hit me up if you're interested in readings. I need to get all my advertisements back up as far as how you can get in touch with me for booking readings. But let's go ahead and get started. So the message, let's talk about the way my last message has been on my mind leading up to this reading. All right, so my last mental alchemy reading ended with that card. It was, I think, the 6 of Pentacles in the Wildwood Tarot deck. And it was a card, to me, what it represented was this sort of anxiety that we've got going on in the collective about transitioning from the last few years where we were going really, really deep within to understand ourselves better, understand consciousness better, understand, I guess, the basic laws of the universe, whatever it is that you went within to do and to realize and to understand and to heal. Spirit is saying, okay, now can we take that and integrate that into our daily lives? So there is an invitation for us to begin integrating ourselves into society as much as possible. What that final card in the last reading was telling me is that there's this anxiety about doing this because the world is on fire. That's the metaphor that came through in that card. And that's been on my mind a lot. I just feel like that's a conversation Spirit wants to continue. So I was not surprised when I pulled these cards and then I dug in and I started reading about this one right here, balance. Okay. Like I said, this is from the Galactic Heritage cards. As you can see, each of these cards, they've got a civilization. That's how I refer to the different alien races. Race is a human construction. I hate it. Let's just go ahead and talk about civilizations, okay? So this is the Arcturus civilization, and then down here we talk about the time stream that this message is coming from. So these are Arcturian guides in a parallel time stream. That's just what's being represented by this card. Let me go ahead and read to you what's in the book. All right, I'm going to see if I can focus on the one thing that really, really, really stood out to me. Oh, wrong page. That's the other card. By the way, I'm just so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so listen to this. This is the exact quote that came up with this card that really resonated with that last message. No matter how chaotic our reality becomes internally or externally, the Arcturus energy is there as a stable, healing energy that we can access to help us remember our true state of being. All right. It does say that you should trust your intuition as how to apply this information. But it talks about the fact that we are right here on this planet Earth in our current time stream experiencing reality of polarity as the theme for this journey. There are cosmic guides who still resonate with the frequency of balance and help remind us of our true state of existence. I feel like as we kind of go in and we explore our consciousness and begin to really understand how like eternal the soul is, right? I'm talking about those of you who have maybe done past life regressions or meditations in which you are able to gain glimpses into the true nature of our reality, okay? You know you haven't always lived on Earth. You have not always lived in a state of polarity. I feel like I'm speaking to a collective who has, I don't know, I want to say an apron string that goes back to that true state of reality, okay? I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we've got homesickness and calling our parts home. Wow. Homesickness is Vega energy on a past time stream, and Sirius is a future time stream, okay? I'm going to come back to this because it supports mental transformation, aka mental alchemy, is essentially what this reading is all about, okay? Spirit is here. This is Sirian future time stream. Spirit is here today. Our galactic guides would love to help coach us in the mental alchemy that's going to help to heal this crisis of imbalance in our external reality, okay? Calling our parts home and homesickness. All right. So there's an integration that needs to happen there. There's this awareness of the chaos of our reality. And simultaneously, some of us are holding on to this awareness of our true state of just like being one with the all, right? Living in a state of peace, balance, harmony, love. Okay. We have little glimpses of what that's like, and it's like, can we just go there? Can we just go back to that? And the answer is that's not what we're here for, babes. Like, we came here to bring that into this reality. All right. So if the world starts flashing like alarms and is like, hey, you guys, everything's in chaos, which, by the way, if you follow the media, that's what they're doing. That's the goal. That's the goal. Is to get you in a state of panic. Right? The goal is to get you to look at the world around you and be terrified by it, to be frightened by it. So you've got to run to some official agency for help. I'm just letting you know. That's what I see happening. Okay, so that's an orchestration. If you really, really, really think about it, there's just as much good, triumph, love, growth, unity, healing, all of that is going on at the same time as all the crazy chaos that's out there. All right. Where's your attention going? Where's your attention going? How many times a day do you remind yourself of all the beauty that still exists in the world? Okay. Because I feel like that's a big part of the message that wants to come through today. All right. There's this TikTok that I follow, and I think it's called The Good News Girl. Maybe her name is Jen. It's just like, I've done this in the past. I have made an analogy between like our news feed and whatever social media that we're consuming and our own like thought stream, right? Thoughts will come along. And you get to decide how much time you're going to spend on that thought. Are you going to like that thought? Are you going to save that thought so you can like come back to it later? If you don't like that thought, don't do it. Don't engage, because it's like that with social media, right? The algorithm, imagine the universe is an algorithm, you guys, all right? The more time you spend on a particular like reel or post, or the more active engagement you have with that post in social media, the more you're going to get that information, right? We're on a feedback loop. Same with your thoughts. Same with your thoughts. Yeah. If you had to unfollow some people because you're like, you know what, I'm not sure that I can handle the energy that they're always putting out into the world, or I'm not sure that I can resonate with their constant state of despair and panic. And you just kind of have to like snooze them for 30 days or whatever, right? Give yourself permission to do that with your thoughts. See what happens, all right? Because the warning that's coming through right now is desperation, all right? Now, the Zeta Reticuli are probably one of the civilizations in this book, in our galactic history, that I'm less familiar with, okay? There is like a really big fear threshold. When I first got this deck, that I didn't really want to know a lot about the Zeta Reticuli. I'm sure there's something in my consciousness that explains that, right? But I've healed that to the point that I'm like, all right, the Zetas have things to say, and here's the message that they want to share with us today. They really want to highlight what the frequency of desperation ends up doing to our decision making process, okay? So that's why I'm saying cultivate, fine-tune your newsfeed, right? In whatever social media, like that's the external. That's the as without. The as within, right, is your own newsfeed. What thoughts are trying to get your attention, and how much attention are you giving to the ones that keep you in a state of desperation? All right, this is what we're here to overcome. This is the mental alchemy reading for overcoming desperation when we look at the world and we find chaos. All right, 33. By the way, 9, balance is 9, desperation is 33. So it's literally 3 times 3. The answer is in the problem. All right. I just read this and I was like, oh my God, this is so on point. And then I forgot it. All right. So this card represents the underlying energy from which the Zetas acted in trying to heal their species crisis. My understanding, and it does in fact say right now, because these are in chronological order, right? You start off, card 1 is about essentially like the founders of this galaxy. Okay, and then it proceeds all the way up to, I think, 108, right? So the guidebook is saying, look, if you have not read cards 30 through 32 to get the background of the Zeta, go do that now. I'm not going to go do that right now. I'm going to tell you guys what I remember about the Zetas, okay? I'm getting a lot of Bashar. There's a lot, if you guys are curious about the betas, the Zetas, what are the betas? The Zetas, Bashar has done a lot of channeling about the Zetas and about their crisis of their civilization that was created essentially when they lost the ability to reproduce. I believe that's what it is. They lost the ability to physically, they stopped themselves from feeling emotion. They resorted to only logic to navigate through reality. Reality became very limiting. Okay? And so sometimes when we are in a crisis, we make choices from fear and desperation that we later wish we could take back. This is true of the Zetas, all right? And you guys, the whole reason, like I've also talked about this in the past, if you're new to the channel, welcome to my philosophy about the shift between the 3rd and the 4th densities. We're not going to the 5th dimension, you guys. Dimensions are just like a different thing. Okay, dimensions exist in time space. We live in space time. Okay, so I feel like it's more appropriate to talk about densities. Third density, solar plexus centered. We're shifting into a fourth density, which is heart chakra centered. Okay, based on my channeled messages, a big part of this shift is moving from individual into collective karma. All right. So if you feel like, man, I really healed all my past life stuff, I feel like I really kind of got a grip on my own individual karma and I'm ready to move forward in the world, you did that for a reason. Okay. Because some of us have, maybe that's why I'm so freaking triggered when I think of the Zetas. I don't know. Some of us have subconscious memories, right? It's like our conscious, somewhere deep down in there, is aware of that, like we were there. Okay, we witnessed this in some way, shape, or form if we didn't experience ourselves. All right, and so why are the Zetas even concerned with what we're doing here on Earth right now today? Because they're healing their collective karma. I'm gonna decline this call. Okay. Successful technology maneuver. I'm not so old. Okay. All right, you guys. So, where was I thinking? Anyways. Okay. So, the Zetas, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Vegans, why are they even invested in Earth right now? Because they had their hands on our past, right? They, you, we, all, our past galactic selves have come here really to work on this collective mission, okay? We're healing the karma of the Arcturians, the Zetans, the Vegans, the Sirians, the Pleiadians, the past civilizations of the mistakes that they made, all right? But also family. We're talking about heritage, right? Where we came from. All right. So each of these civilizations had an impact on the development of human civilization on Earth. And not all of it was really positive. All right. The Zetas are I'm going to have to dig into that later. Okay. But the Zetas are calling out to us from their own time stream, from the past, saying, look, we made this mistake in the past as a civilization. It had like really, really terrible consequences. So as collective Earth beings, here's what you can do. They're here to coach us through not making that same mistake. Okay, not making huge decisions out of a feeling of desperation and a feeling of fear. And here's a channel message that's really coming in it's let's go back to this idea of balance. Okay, what balances fear? We have to look into the energy body for that. Let's look into our chakras. Okay, what chakra is the home, is the root of our fear? It's the root chakra. And what is the balancing chakra to the root chakra? Is the crown, okay? So the antidote to fear is faith. It's mental transformation for a reason. I think there's a lot of people who want answers to come from this tangible reality. First, they have to take place up here. All right. This is the mental transformation. Is just showing you, hey, if you're overwhelmed with fear, we've got something for that. Okay. It's the crown chakra. Okay. Because their heart is the center of your energy body. Did you guys know that? So the throat and the solar are balancing energies, the third eye and the sacral, as well as the crown and the root. Okay, so whenever you're feeling really, really, really super into one of your lower chakras, see how you can move that energy into the corresponding upper chakra, all right? Okay, so that's the balancing, that's the alchemy. You got fear. What is it that you need to help dissolve that, to help balance that? Faith in whatever the frick it is you believe in. Okay? Do you believe? I'll tell you what. at the heart of my teachings is a gospel that I want to promote right now and every day. All right. Every time I have a reminder, I'm going to remind you guys, I'm going to remind myself, I am here to preach the gospel of everything's going to be all right. Okay. So if you're having a hard time right now, just ask yourself that. Like, are you okay believing at the very least that everything's going to be all right in the end? Yeah. Can you do that? Yeah. If you can do that, those are the beginnings of faith. Okay? If that's the smallest thing that you can put your faith in right now, everything's going to be all right. Do it, because it's going to help us move out of this energy of desperation. Okay, so the next card that I got in this reading was 94, mental transformation, serious. Like I said, just saying that this is it's the function that we need to perform to get from the problem to the solution, right? 3, 3, 3. It's that function is multiplication. How do we get from desperation to balance? Multiplication. Okay. This is a metaphor for saying, look, there's a function that you can perform to get from balance or to desperation, from desperation to balance. And that function is mental transformation, aka mental alchemy. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that one now. That is a Syrian energy from a future time stream. That's just it. Okay. So, tangent. Okay. Because I've really been for years getting a lot of guidance that I'm supposed to write something. So every now and then I sit down and I make an outline. Well, if I was going to write something, what would I really want to write about? And I would love to be able to create a guide to help people with, I've been calling it subconscious integration, okay? And what that means is we're not conscious of all of our belief systems. That exists in the subconscious mind, right? So a key to healing that I feel like I'm here to share with you guys is I have to get my notes. So our goals in life, our intentions, where's that come from? Our conscious mind, right? What our goals and our intentions have to contend with is anything that exists in our subconscious mind that tells us that's not possible. Okay? So it's like a countering belief that exists in our subconscious mind, right? So what my notes here are talking about is essentially creating almost like a process or a method for unpacking. There's this cycle, all right, in which either internal or external stimuli trigger in us a feeling, okay? And feeling, by the way, is communication that's coming from your body and your subconscious mind, right? It's like flags are going off saying, hey, this is really great, or oh, no, this is not very great at all right? So feelings influence our thoughts, right? Because when you have a feeling, you're going to tell yourself a story about the where and the why of it, okay? Our thoughts are actually reflections of our belief systems, okay? It's kind of like, that's interesting. Okay, I just got the image in my mind of like what I was talking about in my last reading, going to the well of consciousness and like scooping it out. You can scoop out what's on the top of that well. Those are our thoughts. We can, and mixing water and air, but whatever, okay? Imagine we can access that top layer of water, but what really affects the quality of that water is the sludge that's on the bottom of that pond or that pool. And that's what I'm calling the subconscious mind, okay? Subconscious mind affects all of our thoughts, all of the narratives that we tell ourselves, all right? So how do we begin to work backwards through that process to be able to get to the subconscious mind and change it, okay? It's about analyzing and evaluating our beliefs that were formed, our beliefs that we've been carrying around in our subconscious mind since we were small, since we were very, very, very young, is when our subconscious mind begins to take shape, okay? So think about the fact that there's a lot of old structures in your subconscious mind, a lot of old beliefs that were handed to you by society, by family, by traumatic experiences, right? That when you were young, you had to tell yourself, you had to make up a narrative of why that happened, right? Those narratives that we tell ourselves, we tell them over and over, they become our subconscious beliefs, all right? So you carry those around with you. And then you evolve and you grow and you heal. And they up in our conscious mind, we have new intentions. We have a new understanding of the way the world works. But what we've got to do in order to change our behaviors, okay? Because I like to imagine, I say our thoughts create our reality, but really I don't think that's the whole process. Our thoughts shape our actions, and I think that our actions do a lot to shape our reality, okay? Because I remember saying once, what if the only way that you could communicate to the universe what you truly want is through your own free will? That's actually the key. That's actually the key. And I need to remind myself of that, okay? The choices that we make, that's the key to shaping our own reality, all right? Nonetheless, okay, let's say, for instance, you've discovered a whole new level of self-worth, okay? And that's the energy that you want to start acting in. But you grew up in a world hearing a narrative that you eventually internalized about your very low self-worth, that you're not actually worth very much at all. You're not very important. People don't want to deal with your problems, etc., 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 right? So how do you act out the belief systems of the conscious mind? You've got to get in there into the subconscious and deal with what's there. You've got to wrestle with what's there, okay? So the process begins by simply observing yourself, right? Why did I do that? What was my motivation there? What was going on subconsciously in my mind? That why do I keep doing this thing? How can I not break this pattern? Stuff like that, right? Because we're acting. There's some statistic out there that I can't call to mind right now, but like the percentage of our actions that kind of are informed directly from the subconscious mind, right? So we can change our conscious thoughts all we want, but in order to really alter the framework of reality that we're living out on the inside, we've got to get into the subconscious mind. Okay, we've got to get in there and we've got to integrate our experiences and our knowledge and our wisdom with what is still in that sludge on the bottom of the pond. Okay, yeah. They're talking to me now because we're extending that metaphor of the pool and there being water on the top, that you can draw water out of the top of that pond. But the quality of that water is ultimately dependent on the sludge that's at the bottom. Okay, and so they're just kind of showing me you can't filter the water by just drawing off at the top. You got to drain that pool. You got to drain that pond. You got to get in there and get the sludge off of the bottom. All right, that's my metaphor of what's going on in the subconscious mind. That's subconscious integration. Okay, I interrupted this thing I was reading in this book to go into that tangent. So let's go back, because I had to talk about the beliefs, habits, and mental attachments cause most of the distress that we experience as humans. Sometimes we don't even realize we have them, which is why I'm making notes about how to write this book for you guys, right? Because that's really my goal, is to teach people how to start to become aware of these things, all right? Now that we are making a planetary transition, it requires us to let go of these obstacles to true awakening. Our future series friends who have already released these obstacles can help us with this because they provide loving guidance to help us navigate this transition. This card asks you to be truthful about your limiting beliefs and habits, even the positive ones, and open yourself to new and flexible ways of thought and being. This card, by the way, accesses energy from the Syrian era after they became an awakened species and transcended to a non-physical fifth density state, okay? I think this might be like the fifth dimension that people are kind of talking about. We are not going to go from being third density beings to being fifth density beings without the evolution. You've got to go through the fourth density. If you guys don't know what I mean by densities, you've got to get you some Lisa Royal Holt. I might start a book club because I want to read it with you guys, okay? And then we can discuss. Because it's just like, I read it and I resonate. I resonate with her writing so much. They're not difficult, okay? Another book, because she writes in a way that's exceptionally accessible. On the other end of the accessibility spectrum is The Law of One, the raw materials, okay? If you guys can get through like the mind-body complex, like all the vocabulary in that book is dense, right? Those books are dense. But they also do talk about the densities, not dimensions philosophy, okay? If you guys are like, I will talk about that all day long on this channel. If you're curious, drop questions if you want me to spend more time in that, okay? When the Syrians were able to transcend their destructive mental patterns, they were able to make their planetary transition with ease, okay? So there is a needed transformation that must take place in your thought and belief patterns in order for you to make a shift. All right? Yeah. I feel that. That's a message for me as well. I'm a part of that collective. Do you guys mind? If you want to be done, I have delivered a good reading for you guys today. All right, if you want to call that the inner reading of 31 minutes and 23 seconds was all you had today, thank you so much for being here, you guys. I really appreciate it. If you want to hang around, I am going to draw a couple more cards from the Revelations Tarot, okay? And what draws me to this is there's to me a commonality between not just the colors, but the line work in each of these. So I feel like if this is almost like an as above energy, let's talk to the so below. That's the Devil card, by the way. All right. So what was beliefs, habits, mental attachments? That's what this Devil card is representing. Okay, I'm gonna knock, and because I haven't used this deck in a long time, okay, and I'm gonna give it a shuffle, and don't be surprised if that one comes back out. He might have more to say to us, but I have not shuffled this deck in a long time, so he's gotta go. Divine spirits of love and light, archangels, ancestors, allies, and guides, thank you so much for the guidance that you've offered us today. I feel like this part of the reading is slightly less collective. Okay, so there's a smaller collective that's going to resonate with this particular. That was for everybody. Okay. Ooh, there's a lot of majors energy showing up. I've seen the moon. I've seen the chariot. We have the Fool reversed. All right, divine spirits of love and light, archangels, ancestors, allies, and guides. What more can you tell us? How can you guide us at this time? There's such a reiteration of allowing yourself, because we've got the world in its reverse. Like I said, the world seems chaotic, but that's what they want me to talk about. All right. Darlings, the current state of chaos, the current apparent state of chaos that is taking place in our world is actually exactly what's supposed to be taking place in our world right now, okay? When you look around and you see the structures that we've always lived with growing more and more unstable, that's part of the plan, okay? Okay, it's not going to be an easy transition between the world that we've lived in and the world that we're creating. It's not. It's going to look like chaos, okay? It's like, I remember when I was young and my mom would be like, you need to clean your room. And I go in there, and especially my closet, right? I had a big closet. I had a little walk-in closet when I was a kid. Mom said, you need to clean your room. You need to clean your closet. So I would start that process. And if you were to walk into that room halfway through the process, it's even more of a mess than it was when I began. But it's because I'm in the process of changing it, right? Like the cleaning's happening. It might look like chaos, but it's actually healing. I feel that. Here's the Three of Swords. Okay. So, wow. Okay. Thank you. Because the last message when I talked about the thought space as the as above is only part of the message, because I really have been talking about it's our thoughts, I create our reality, and spirit's coming in. It's like it's also the choices you make. All right, because what are we gonna do when we look out at the world and we see there is a lot there are terrible things happening in the world today? Are we just going to lay down on our sword and take a nap about it? Are we going to just live our lives in despair? Look how much these are just giving. Desperation, the same energy. And it's a 3. It's a 3 and a 3. Okay. So guide us, Spirit. What do we do with that? What do we do with that? Whoop. The 3 of Cups. You guys, and there's no way this is not a Syrian energy to me, because I've had crazy meditations where I have connected with my past life Syrian self, and she was a blue mermaid, a blue bald-headed mermaid. I want to reiterate, all right? So this 3 of Cups, they're mermaids. Okay, coming together, you guys. Do you remember I've been using this metaphor of okay, taking the cup and skimming it across the pond, right? Who are the other people you know that think in that way? Okay, can you get together with them? Have conversations, come together, bring your cups together and discuss your experiences. I feel like that's very, very, very important. And I feel like it's something that I'm guided to do. And I want to promise you guys, I'm working through all my inner shit so I can do that, right? Like, I don't mean to sound grandiose, but I've been guided. So it's another 3, by the way. But sometimes I really feel like part of what I'm meant to do here is facilitate discussions the way that's what Jesus was doing. Jesus would have these little parties, like not like house parties, not like a keg, but they'd be like, hey, let's get together for dinner over at Peter's house tonight. And they all will sit around and talk about their own personal journey with their belief system. That's what I feel like this represents. Okay, who are the other people who have taken up the cup, who have taken up the chalice, and who are really willing to approach that deep, 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 deep pond of consciousness and scoop something out and have a conversation about it? Okay, so that's the metaphor that I'm getting here. It really is about coming together and uniting with other people who believe the way that you do, okay? Who approach life in the way that you do. Who wants to come out now? I want to get an oracle deck. Okay, Starseed Oracle is talking to me. So was the Spellcaster Oracle, but let's do this. One last card on this topic, because it's very much about like I said, coming together. What we're afraid of, what I really think, and this is dipping into the emotional alchemy area, okay? Monday is Moon Day, and that's my goal, is to do emotional alchemy readings on Mondays, all right? But dipping into that, what was I saying? That's a big part of our guidance. There's a fear that a lot of us have, and this is less of a mental, like logical, rational existing fear, and more of a I'm feeling it in my emotional body fear. Like I said before, you're thinking about interacting with other people in the way that you've interacted with other people in the past, and that was really kind of hurtful and oppressive to you in a lot of ways. So what if, in emerging from your cocoon, you can interact with people that believe a lot more, like they're a lot more like you? You're not for everyone. Girl, I know. This is what we're healing from. The you're not for everyone energy. Okay? Because we are human beings. We have an ego. It's a mechanism that serves a particular purpose in this life. It's not evil. Okay? But because we have one, feelings get hurt when we just realize we're not for everyone. So that's what we're healing from. Okay? Arcturus energy, deep cellular healing. You guys, okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Arcturian energy is an energy that, like, when I look at this, I know that this is a metaphor for like somebody who has laid down in meditation and sort of entered these halls. I want to call them the halls of a mentee. But to me, I think another word for that is kind of like the Akashic records, right? But it's almost like somebody going into a neutral space, creating a space visually and energetically where these Arcturians can come in and help you heal your energy body. Okay? Okay. Have you ever had a meditation where you feel like your chakras are being aligned? Like, I really feel like it's like they can pull on a string and all of my chakras that are like over here and crazy, just whoop, get into alignment. So if you haven't done that before, request a chakra alignment in meditation. They'll hook you up. Okay? There's a YouTube channel that I like to follow. I might post something. I've been following it for quite some time. And it's just like Arcturian healing and music. So somebody out there is channeling some Arcturian energy into their music. And I love using that for my meditations. Okay. Jump in. These are all the people under the water, right? And they're swimming around in their little mermaid garden, talking about consciousness. How did they get there? They jumped in. That's the guidance here. Jump in. Jump in. Okay? Just have your mind and heart and your energy body open to the moment that spirit, that the universe presents you with the opportunity to connect with like-minded people. Just be ready for that. And when that opportunity comes on, jump in. All right? Trust your heart, trust your gut, but please understand. Y'all, I've been saying it this whole time. The greatest predictor of the future is your own free will. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Hit me up if you need anything, and I'll be back probably on Friday. All right? Be well.